After now, I will get you, game! I'm back. So yeah, Donald Duck is undoubtedly one of the most famous comic book characters of all time, and not even in comic books, in pop culture. He has brought many smiles, many tears, many cries, many everything to everyone. And ever since his debut in cartoons back in the 1940s and 1930s, there's absolutely no reason to not know about Donald Duck. Now in the name of video games, he's had quite a few, which unfortunately haven't really been that much since the 2000s. Yeah, there hasn't really been any video game based on Donald Duck ever since 2002, at least not where a game where he's starring in. But there was a genuine attempt. Back in the year 2000, Ubisoft decided to release Donald Duck Going Quackers in America, but if you are European, it's known as Donald Duck Quack Attack. So this review will be on the Nintendo 64. The Nintendo 64 game, of course. Let's begin! So, this is the Nintendo 64 version, and clearly with the limitations of being on the cartridge, corners had to be cut, and that means in-game cutscenes. It's about Daisy, who has somehow made it to Murloc's castle to investigate, I guess. Yeah, it's never really explained what she's doing there. Meanwhile, Gladstone, Donald, and Gearloose are watching this broadcast together and notices her being captured. So, first thing to notice, the villain is Murloc, who happened to be exactly that in the DuckTales movie from 1990. He's a decent one, his look is cool, and he has enough of a bad guy aura for you to imagine, yeah, he's a villain. This is actually the most recent appearance of him being an antagonist in video games. Who knows, he might have appeared in something else later on. Gladstone makes it to the teleporter first, so he gets a head start. So now Donald Duck have to travel through 4 different worlds to reach the castle, because the portal to Murloc's castle needs to be charged, and that is why gameplay and story must happen. So this one is a basic platformer with a Donald Duck theme. Nothing more, nothing less. This is really the best way to transfer him to the 3rd dimension. Anything else would suck. Well, for the first time. You travel through 4 different zones with a different theme in each. Forest, city, horror house, and temple. Are they anything special? Well, not really. They were common as leaves back in the early days of 3D platforming. But it's really what the environment looks like and what creatures there are that make your life a living hell. Or at least trying to. There's a lack of enemies to make it more difficult. It's really not. They just move around in one place hoping to get your flesh and blood. On paper, they are as easy to avoid as leaves. In practice, however, it can be really frustrating to get around. For one reason and one reason only. The controls are truly awful. This was the early age of 3D gaming, and with analog sticks so brand new to the very concept, there would be problems. More for some and less for others. It's not because 3D gaming simply didn't work with analog controls. Zelda 64 did it great. It just so happens this one has poor implementation. While the stick works okay, it is really the jump button which somehow delays any action you would do to flawlessly make it seem like a chore. But does the other things give this anything special? I mean, if you like straight hallways, then this is the game for you. If you like an actual challenge, then just stay away. There's nothing to write home about. Not even the idea of collectibles matter. You collect stars to grant yourself extra lives. That's the only collectible there's plenty of. There are also 1 gold piece to each level, which is a must to beat the game, since they allow you to access the level boss. They are almost in plain sight, so searching around almost doesn't matter. Only in a few levels do you need to do some actual searching. If this was standard, then I would like be like fucking awesome! But of course there's 1 collectible, and that is towards 100% completion. The nephew toys. There are 3 of them in each level. They have been cursed by Murloc. Why? Who knows? I certainly don't. It's never explained. My shiny pieces, however, they are not tough to find, but they are interesting to think about. Just hit this book and a time limit appears and counts down. Now you got to find the toys before time runs out. That does sound cool, doesn't it? Oh, it does, but sadly not enough. If time running out meant it vanished, then it would give you a reason to hurry up. But since they reappear again and again, it's really apparent they were added to give the illusion of challenge. The last random levels are the nephews, which can only be accessed by collecting all the toys. It's a chase level, and the controls really shows its ugly side. On every level, a cutscene is shown, revealing the enemy. For the first world, it's a giant bear. The next is a truck, and the third one is a giant hand. They are tough as nails. The jump button almost never responds to what you need to do. The path itself is really hard to telegraph. It's almost impossible to do this in one go. I almost gained over. The bosses are your standard ones. The one that poses a challenge is the first one, because it forces you to run around in a circle. First avoiding his children, then avoid him and his giant ass. Then attack him when the opening happens. That happens on every single boss. Then it's the bigger boys, or at least one of them. What happened to the rest? Avoid the bombs, then attack him. Do this 3 times to win. Yeah, you can tell this was made for kids in mind, with easy to find collectibles, straight levels, overall just easy to beat. But the controls really make it difficult to play. The frantic music, coupled with gameplay style levels, makes the game still alive, despite their flaws. But for God's sake, just play any other console version of this game and you will be fine. Much like me right now.